Hello, it's MA again, and I'm here again talking about Tarot Low Buy, No Buy 2026 and a couple more activities we can do. And you can just do whichever of these or none of them that appeal to you. And I hope that this is something that if you're doing Low Buy, No Buy, you're also thinking about and hopefully putting your suggestions out there too. So I guess I'm going to go into three things this time and see if any of them appeal to you. The first one is if you engaged in the tarot reorder exercise, you may have ended up reorganizing your shelves, or you may have started looking at all your decks again. So one of the things to think about is, do you have a tarot inventory? Do you have a list of all your decks? Where and how is it kept? And how in-depth is it? And something in looking at all your decks together to possibly think about is adding some characteristics of the deck, like what system they are, when, where you bought them, how much you paid for them, were they a gift, do they have themes, do they have astrology, do they have another realm of interest that they cross over into? And just think about whether you want to keep a tarot inventory. Again, not so much for the sake of the inventory itself as for the sake of going through the decks, categorizing them, see what they have in common, and just see what you have and take stock. So that's one option. Another option, not quite related, is this is something that I've noticed. I get a lot of Substack notifications. I subscribe to a lot of things. And how often do I actually fully read these newsletters as they're coming through? So if you have a back catalog of, Substacks, blogs, anything that you've been meaning to get to, spend a little time, like go back and read some of those. Or if you're not subscribed to any of them, have a look on Substack and subscribe to a few people. A lot of people that create decks have them. A lot of people that teach tarot have them. I think Mary Greer has a pretty extensive blog on her website that goes back ages and is filled with great stuff. So that's another avenue to dive into. And then the third one involves, and this may have a feeling it's not just a me issue, it may not be everyone's issue, but over the years I've amassed a tarot library. And for a while the books were scattered all over my house, so I've kind of been assembling them, taking stock there. And one thing I have discovered is that there are several books that either A, I have not read yet or have not finished yet. And under the have not finished, I find that a lot of the times it's because the book was so exercise heavy that if I was sitting down at a time that I just felt like reading, I would get to the exercise and kind of stop. So two that I pulled out from my collection are The Neuroscience of Tarot, and I think I got to maybe the second or third exercise that involved getting a bunch of spices from your cabinet and smelling them, and I stopped reading it. So this is something I can pick up again and, pay a little more attention to. And also, I can just commit in the same way that I'm committing to not doing something, as in buying decks. I could commit to doing something, which is, instead of saying, I'm going to finish this book, I could say, let's see, this has how many chapters? I could say it only has 6 chapters. I could say I'm going to read 1 chapter a month, or some way to kind of move me through the book and make a positive commitment to something rather than a negative commitment to not do something. Another book similar, because of so many exercises, I actually never finished Tarot for Yourself by Mary Greer. So this is something I think I can pick up again this year too. It's just here waiting for me to have the time and the attention. Oh man, that's a theme that keeps coming up. If our attention is like a currency, where am I spending it? And that's an important thing about the low no buy for me, is not spending the attention on thinking about decks and shopping for decks. So Yeah, so I think that's a thing, that go to your shelf. What tarot book did you not finish, or what did you read and not do the exercises, and now maybe you want to think about going back to? And one last thing along the vein of tarot books, maybe you think you don't have a big tarot library, but if you've got several decks, you probably have a bunch of guidebooks. And what I'm thinking of this as is liberate the guidebook. And I have done this a lot with mass market decks that came in boxes, where I've gotten rid of the packaging. And so most of my guidebooks are now separately housed from the decks. And I have to remind myself to also use that as a library. So there's no reason that I can only use this guidebook with this deck. And the reason I pulled these two is because, let's say I'm using my Wade Smith deck. I'm just going to pull whatever card this is, and I get the Death card. And I'm going to spend some time thinking about the Death card. And why not pick up a bunch of different guidebooks? This is from the Enchanted Tarot. And one of the reasons I like this book is that they have kind of like the enchantment, which is like a magical or meditative act or some kind of action that you can take with regard to this card. And then I think there are a lot of guidebooks that, as part of the card meaning or card explanation, and Shadowland is one of them, contain a bunch of reflection questions. Another one I've noticed recently has this is the Mindscapes Tarot. So if I'm pulling this from a Wade Smith or any deck, like, why not pull out a guidebook from another deck and see if it has some extra activities or areas of inquiry for me to go into beyond just the visuals of the card and my retained meanings of the card. So yeah, I think that that's another way to look at the tarot library, is liberate the guidebooks. Let them all play together, let them play with other decks. And that's it for today. Happy taroting. Bye.